Hi, I'm Dennis Rodkin. I write the Deal Estate column for Chicago Magazine, and this is DEQs, where I answer readers' real estate questions. A reader named Corey in Chatham asks, "The refinance that I was originally approved for has been declined because of a ridiculously low appraisal. My purchase price in June 2007 was $250,000. Now the appraiser's report for my refi came in at $38,000. The only vacant property on the block is a single-family home next door, but thankfully there are no boards on the windows there. I find it very strange that the appraiser reported $38,000. Where did that number come from? I need to refinance to resist the idea of walking away from my property. What is my next move?" Those are really some rough numbers, Corey. I understand how tight that must feel. I do want to say you're not the only one in such a situation, but let's look at what happened to you. You may know that appraisers now work under guidelines that keep them independent of lenders. That arm's length is to prevent collusion between lenders and appraisers that would jack up home values, as was happening a few years ago. Unfortunately, you got the other end of that. The lender felt that the home was worth a refinancing, but the appraiser slashed the estimated value so far that then the lender was scared off. You mentioned that there's only one empty property on your block. It's not just about your block. It may be about the larger area. You live in Chatham, where, as I've seen, there have been quite a few foreclosed condos. I found some condos within close reach of you that sold at foreclosure at $22,000, $32,000, $42,000, and $55,000. Unfortunately, those foreclosures do count as the benchmark setting the values, whether you and I like it or not. In our April chart in the magazine, we used data that showed that multifamily housing, condos and townhouses in Chatham, are down in value more than 78% from the peak value in 2006. You bought in 2007, so a little math tells us that those rough figures bring your value down to about $55,000, though, as you say, you paid $250,000. That's difficult to look at. It's also true that in our charts, the median attached home value, the median value for attached housing in 2011 was just $21,000. I'm not trying to rub salt in your wounds. What I'm trying to do is show you how an appraiser would get to such a number that is so painful for you. Our data comes from the MLS, and the appraisers would use essentially the same data. Your numbers are really startling, but you're not the only one in that situation. This is the problem with refinancing these days, is that so many people have found the value of the home has eroded to a point that they can't prop up a new loan with the equity they have. Your next step, you mentioned in an email, looking at HAMP, looking at NACA, knocking on every door to find the place that can restructure your loan. There are new programs coming out over the course of the next several months that could help. But I'm afraid that you may be stuck in the loan you have. I am not a financing person. I'm reporting on that industry, but it looks to me as if you might be stuck. On walking away, I want to say, you told me separately that that is not your style, and I admire that. I appreciate the idea that though your home is only worth $38,000 now, you're working off a debt of over $200,000. That's admirable, and that is the dilemma that the housing market has created for an enormous number of people these days. Thanks for your question. Send me more at dennis@rodkin.com.